Hi, my name is Magdalena Cielecka and I'm a producer of Gamedec. Today I will guide you through some of our systems and gameplay elements. Gamedec is a cyberpunk isometric RPG where you take up a role of a detective solving crimes in virtual worlds. Their gender, background and character are of your choosing. We're showing in-development pre-alpha build, so please keep in mind that some elements are bound to change. This video will show one of the paths you can follow in your investigation, so it might be spoiler sensitive. But most of the branching paths won't be featured. What you need to know right now is that we were hired by Mr. Haggis, extremely powerful executive whose son is in danger. In Gamedec universe, people are spending most of their time in various virtual worlds that they access through specific suits and helmets. Haggis' son somehow got stuck in one of those worlds. Something is happening to him inside the game. Since we cannot lock him out without risking his life, we need to find another way to save him. The obvious choice seems to be interrogating his friend Timmy, the only possible witness. Interrogation is an in-game mechanic that allows us to monitor other people's attitude towards us, and, by balancing that, get them to reveal everything they might know. We know that Timmy doesn't like to be pressured with questions, and he hates when someone ignores what he has to say. So let's give Timmy some breathing room and focus more on his friend Fredo Haggis. Hopefully this will make him trust us more. And he snaps. So now we know that the boys didn't play in the virtualium they were supposed to. They went for Twisted and Perverted, which is as bad as it sounds. We can now use the deduction system. It allows us to look through all the info we've gathered, which unlocks different possible deductions. And then, choose one that seems most probable for us. Since I skipped most of the interactions in the office, we don't have much context, but what we know right now leads us to the Twisted and Perverted world, which will be our next step. Here we are in Twisted and Perverted, which is about sex, killing, and everlasting night. The fact that Fredo decided to come here doesn't really bode well. This is an exclusively adult game, and even though everyone is consenting to everything, it can get pretty intense. We don't really know where Fredo might be, so let's just chat up to this dangerously looking stranger and get some info. This is Umbra, and as you can probably see, she is taking the whole being in character thing very seriously. And what she has planned for us seems shady as hell, but what's the worst that could happen? Twisted and Perverted has safety measures that should respawn us after death. The main goal of this interaction is to get Umbra as interested in us as humanly possible. Since she likes tough guys who talk big, this is probably the best approach to get her interested. What you're seeing right now is gaining an aspect through dialogue choice. Aspects are character-defining traits that you gain by making unusual decisions or choosing dialogue options that describe your character further. They can be used for unlocking professions, which I'll be explaining a bit later. Professions open up additional dialogue lines that can be very helpful in our interrogation, just like the one here that allows us to impress Umbra. We got her talking, and maybe now we'll get some info about Fredo's whereabouts. Seems he's somewhere inside the old theater. Umbra got a little too excited, and now she's going in for the kill, because this is what Twisted and Perverted is all about. Of course, we can allow her to do that, since losing points in this game doesn't really bother us. But we can also try and break her streak since we're at it. Umbra took her chance and failed, but we are still in fight to the death with her. And although I don't care about points in Twisted and Perverted and I'm not really into her game, I won't give her the satisfaction. We now know where Fredo is, so it is a great time to leave this alley. Or not. I really hope someone at least got some bonus points for that kill. There are a few ways to get out of here, from killing our character and getting respawned elsewhere, to more subtle ways. We'll go with the latter. There should be an administrative panel here somewhere. Here it is, behind the graffiti. It's not easy to hack an administrative panel, but if we unlock a right profession with aspects we've gathered, it should do. As you can see, there is a coder option that is grayed out. If you click on it, we'll get to the profession screen, and there you can buy one that is needed. Professions are a way to define your character further. We can choose from several groups, and each one will unlock different dialogue choices and options. Just like that, we can now despawn the car and get out of the alley. There are more things going on here, but since we want to focus on the case, we'll just leave. Now we could get into the theater. This definitely doesn't look good, and Fredo seems to be more of a disturbed teenage pervert than anything else. But let's make sure this is what's actually going on. It seems that the perpetrator is the guy here, Jester, who has some kind of problem with Haggis and what he's been up to. He decided to take revenge on Haggis' son, who we can see in the top right corner in some kind of a vicious loop. Okay, so something definitely strange is happening in this theater. We've been teleported to the entrance and Jester is gone. So let's chat up to this patron and get to know what's going on. The dialogue with the guy seems really strange, and after a few loops we still cannot control our character or change the flow of the dialogue. It seems Jester had an ace up his sleeve and managed to trap us in a loop, like he did with Fredo. By carefully observing our surroundings, we noticed that we might be able to use our eyeball movement to get to the specific Gamedec tool called Guardian Angel. Thanks to it, we will be able to use administrative mode to see what is actually happening here. By analyzing objects in the theater, we are gathering info for our deductions. We have an incoming call from Kenzu, our sidekick with a bit too much enthusiasm and a bit too little experience. Ken will try to find a way to get us out, but we won't be standing here and waiting for a savior. Let's look for some solutions by ourselves. After analyzing the area, we've managed to get some info about what is going on with the loop. As for the final deduction, we will need to make a choice. What you should remember is that usually you won't be able to unlock each and every information. It really depends on the way we will be playing the case. If we play as a ruthless mercenary, overloading the woman and just getting the kid out of here is the way to go. We could decide to ignore our employer and just overload his son because, well, look what the hell he is doing here. Fortunately, our previous deductions unlocked another option, and that is to try to break the loop by duplicating elements. And since the woman is just a bystander and we don't really know if Fredo is guilty here, we will go with that option. Let's try with chairs. And finally, the loop is broken. Let's get Fredo out of there and go home. Or not, since Jester is one step ahead of us. By now you probably forgot about Ken, but surprisingly, he managed to come up with a plan. I'll probably regret that, but let's trust him. That isn't what I hoped for, but beggars can't be choosers. Now, let's wrap it up, get back to Mr. Haggis and report on what's happened. This report, of course, doesn't have to be entirely true. And, well, this is only one of many of the endings for this case. You'll have the options to make different decisions and see different outcomes. Whatever type of a detective you want to be, it is entirely up to you. Thanks for watching, and remember, this is still a work in progress, so stay tuned for future updates. Take care!